vast, complex system of interconnecting riverways, isolated swamps and lakes, a habitat to rare species of plants and animals found nowhere else in the planet, and home to the indigenous Agusanon Manobo community of Mindanao. Take a closer look at the amazing world within the Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary. The Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary lies within the Agusan River in the province of Agusan del Sur, northeastern Mindanao. Its ecological significance spurred its protection through Proclamation Number 913 in 1996. In recognition of its global value, the Ramsar Convention included the Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary in the Ramsar list of wetlands of international importance on November 12, 1999. More recently, in 2018, through the Expanded National Integrated Protected Area System, or INIPAS, it received stronger protection under Republic Act 11038.
So, Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary is considered a cradle of life in the province of Agusan del Sur because it's actually a catch basin. The water coming from Davao, Compostela Valley, and Surigao merge in Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary dito sa Agusan del Sur. Kasi lahat ng tubig, dito talaga siya, hinuhold ng Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary. So without Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary, yung Butuan City will be submerged underwater. Yung mga municipalities along Agusan River will be flooded during times of heavy rains, during times of rainy season.
The Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary features 7 types of wetland habitats. Notable among the wetland habitats found in Agusan Marsh are peatlands, peatlands cover only 3% of the Earth's surface. But according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or the IUCN, about 30% of global carbon is stored in these peatlands. That's twice as much carbon that is stored in the world's forests. The protection and conservation of peatlands is crucial in mitigating the impact of climate change. When preserved, peatlands could sequester more carbon and lower greenhouse gas emission. But if destroyed, they will emit tons of CO2 and other greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary holds the Kaimpugn Pitlands, which is considered the largest and rarest known peat swamp forest in the Philippines.
Peatlands, as I said, your typical landscape. They may seem idle, but God has placed it here for a very specific purpose. That is why we got to protect it. It serves as a sponge during wet time. Now take note, in the end months of the year, I'm talking of October, November, and December, it is the time where we do experience severe weather disturbances. At the middle part of the Agusan River Basin, that's the catch basin. The peatland serves as a sponge, preventing water from immediately flowing downstream. Take note, without the Agusan Marsh and without the peatland areas, all of these floodwaters would simply flow downstream, inundating Butuan City, that's for sure.
The Agusan Marsh is actually a unique ecosystem. It serves as a migration flyway of migratory birds of Southeast Asia. And it is home to some endemic species, just like the Philippine crocodile.
Apart from being a rich feeding ground for migratory birds during winter season, it likewise provides refuge to a host of rare plants and animals that include Philippine endemic but threatened species like the Philippine crocodile.
Isa ding unique feature ng Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary is the presence of our brother manobos, the Agusanon manobo, who live in floating houses.
Paradise is found where nature and humanity coexist in mutual symbiosis. Modern science and traditional practices are key approaches in conservation, where indigenous peoples have mastered stewardship of their natural environment. The indigenous knowledge systems and practices of the Agusanon Manobo community contribute to the economic, ecological, and socio-cultural value of Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary.
Yung mga brother or sister IPs natin na nandito sa Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary, sila yung partners na natin sila in the park management because sila yung nasa loob ng protected area. So in terms of our biodiversity activities, in terms of our enforcement activities, sila yung tinatap po namin dito. So sila mismo in their area, within their area, sila po yung tumutulong na maprotektahan po nila yung area nila because they are benefiting from the resources within the Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary. I would just like to add also the unique interplay of human and wildlife interaction in Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary. So yung harmonious relationship po ng mga tao with the wildlife is parang part na po kasi ng life ng mga tao, yung mga animals na andito sa loob ng Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary, and they considered parang yung spirit guide din nila, yung mga wildlife na andito sa loob. Example po, yung crocodile. They have a great respect for crocodile kasi they believe na yung spirits ay andun din sa mga wildlife na yun. So they have practiced rituals para magbigay din galang in the divine figure, parang ganun po, na nag-guide sa kanila in their day-to-day life.
Sa ako lang, nakita jud na ako ang Agusan Marsh. Pinaka-importante sa amuak sa usa ka tribong manubo sa Agusanon kay maunay amo ang paningabuhian. Kung walay Agusan Marsh, dili sa ingon nga pagpaubos na amo ang pagkatao. Maglisod jud mi kung way Agusan Marsh, diha tanan ang amo ang kinanglanon. Kay kung way Agusan Marsh, murag dili jud makapa-eskwela ang mga tribo sa Agusan Marsh kay ngano maura ni amo ang yaman kaning isda. Importante lang pag-aampingan sa sunod pang henerasyon para ang akong anak masubay pa sab nila, makita nila kung unsa ang kaklase sa isda, kung unsa kadagkuon. Muna karon na naningkamot mi sa kaming pangidaron nga among gihatag sa among mga anak sa mga kanang kinaiyahan nga maayo para sa sunod ila gihapon madala sa ilang anak para ang kinaiyahan hangtod nga hangtod daw sama sa ingon sa akong nabalhan nga habang buhay.
The management of this Agusan Marsh is actually directly handled by the PASO office, which is situated in the marsh. We have an office there, and the PINRO is supporting in terms of management and the technical aspects, in the monitoring, and especially in the enforcement activities like in the Lawin.
The convergent efforts of national and local government, local residents, indigenous communities, as well as local and global environmental organizations have all managed to keep Agusan Marsh a sanctuary protected for both nature and humanity.
For the past 3 years, we organized, we have Bantay Danaos. They are biodiversity brigades, as the DNR. We collaborated with the DNR, the PASO office. We organized them as patrol officers or wardens along the different lakes as well as the forest in the marsh. And at the same time, we develop a resource-based livelihood. We have proliferating water hyacinth. We convert that into sleepers, as well at the same time charcoal briquettes made of water hyacinth. Also, we have wetland grass, the tikog, they call that as tikog. We train the locals to make bags, baskets, At the same time, we have unique trees or a fruit tree, Kaimpugn and libas, and other wildlife fruit trees within the marsh. We trained the locals or the IP community. We have now cookies made of Kaimpugn and libas at the same time the jam making.
We are also promoting ecotourism as part of the conservation activities in the marsh, wherein the local communities are engaged in ecotourism or biodiversity-friendly enterprises to further conserve our natural resources in the area. So we're capacitating our local communities to be part of the management of the protected areas because the protected area office could not do this alone.
Understanding the little-known facts about wetlands and their value to humanity leads one to ponder on how blessed we are to live on this planet. Truly, the Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary is one of the rare treasures you will find on our fragile Earth.